Thursday, September the 13th, 1759. A steep rock face rises 200 feet above the river. The only access to the top, a narrow goat path. James Wolfe has ordered all the landing craft to drift down the river, and the troops to scale this forbidding face to a field he has never walked. All night, the British Army climbs. In the morning, on the plains of Abraham, James Wolfe and his commanders survey the field. He has only seen the plains through a telescope 3 days ago. An abandoned farmer's field, uneven, filled with scrub. Wolfe has placed himself between two armies. On one side, Montcalm's main force is at Beauport, an hour's march away. But behind Wolfe, there is another French army, 2,000 men scattered along the St. Lawrence under Bougainville, who can mobilize within a few hours. Wolfe is gambling Montcalm will take the bait. If Wolfe can't tempt Montcalm into a quick battle here this morning, his position is militarily desperate. Montcalm quickly mobilizes, but he's uncertain about the British invasion plan. He sends 5,000 men towards the plains of Abraham and leaves the rest of his force to guard the Beauport trenches. The Marquis de Vaudreuil sends a courier to Bougainville.
A 6:45, September 13th. To Monsieur de Bougainville. It seems quite certain that the enemy has attempted a landing. Monsieur le Marquis de Montcalm has just left. As soon as I am sure of what is happening, I will notify you. Postscriptum. The enemy forces seem considerable.
They are more than considerable. By 8 in the morning, 4,000 men are assembling on the plains of Abraham. But the British are not alone. In the woods and cornfields around the plains, 400 Canadian militia and Indian snipers have rushed from Quebec to pin the enemy down while Montcalm's troops mobilize. They are the first to engage the invader. Lieutenant John Knox sees men falling around him.
What galled us the most was a body of Indians and other marksmen they had concealed in the corn opposite to the front of our right wing and a coppice that stood opposite to our center.
At 8:30, Montcalm's army is approaching the plains of Abraham. But before this day, these men have already traveled thousands of miles with different motives. For the French officers, this is another encounter among many in the imperial wars of Europe. Colonel Etienne Guillaume de Saint-Nazaire, an aristocrat who's fought in Italy, Bavaria, and the Netherlands. This morning, it's Quebec. Captain Jean-Baptiste Duprat, a commoner who rose through the ranks, fought in Italy, Bavaria, and the Rhine. Fiacre François de Montbéliard, commander of the French artillery, veteran of the War of Austrian Succession. The soldiers they're leading are also thousands of miles from home, but they're here because they have little choice. Most are from the cities. They are the landless, the surplus labor of France. Carpenters, apprentice wig makers, cloth cutters. Men like Joseph Douzet, Antoine Mouret, Barthélemy Gérard. Most had never even heard of Quebec before they were shipped here.
Wheeling to the right from column into line! Right wheel!
They're not much different from the men waiting for them in the British lines. The 35th Regiment is recruited largely from Ireland. Many are farmers displaced from their land. Michael Clinton, John Darby, Abel Skittle. Irishmen who have spent most of their time enforcing the British occupation of their own country. The English soldiers here are the jobless apprentices of Britain's clothing factories and shipyards. Others have a different story. The Fraser Highlanders. Their families were evicted from the Scottish Highlands by the British. The young men had no alternative but to join the very army which destroyed their way of life. James Thompson, John Fraser, Alexander Fraser. These men have nothing left to lose. Marching in the ranks of Montcalm's regiments, however, are hundreds of men who have everything to lose. Fathers and sons of the great Canadian families. D'Argenteuil, Courtemanche, Repentigny. Unlike the French soldiers, the Canadians are defending their homes and their way of life. François Clément Boucher de la Perrière. At 51, he feels his age. I can no longer see clearly now, he says, though I have glasses on my nose. Not far from him, the next generation of his family, René Aimable Boucher de Boucherville. The Bouchers are defending almost 150 years of family and history. Charles Deschamps de Boisbert spent 2 years protecting fleeing Acadians from the British. He leads the Acadian militia this morning. Under him, Joseph Trahan, 18, an Acadian who escaped the deportation. This morning, he's a refugee and a soldier at arms. The British Army now numbers 4,441 men. To increase their firepower, Wolfe has ordered them to load 2 lead balls in their muskets instead of 1. To stretch his army out over the widest possible distance, Wolfe orders his men to form in 2 long, thin lines rather than the usual 3. One of the first to arrive is the French artillery commander Montbéliard. He scans the plains below him. The British line is a mile wide. When Montcalm arrives, he's still uncertain. The British position seems so reckless. But he doesn't know if this is their full invasion force or if they will attempt a second landing at Beauport. He can attack, or he can wait for Bougainville to arrive with reinforcements. The fate of Quebec and of Canada rests with Montcalm's next decision.